Okay, so get this, listeners. Today, we're going deep on Astral.
Yeah, just the first few chapters, but
Yeah, but even those are a wild ride. It's
yeah.
like Nigerian culture meets, uh,
A young guy who can teleport, basically. Yusuf.
right, Yusuf Ali. And honestly, the whole thing just makes you think.
About what's real, what's not.
Exactly.
It's so smart how the author, right from page 1, you're in Yusuf's head.
Like you feel what he feels.
Not just see it, but feel those other realities. It's all amplified.
After his accident, right?
Yeah, tenfold, it says. So
Yeah.
he's got these crazy strong powers now.
Bombardment of senses, I bet. Like sights from different places, sounds, even smells, I imagine.
It's not even just that. Yusuf's community, they believe in witchcraft, like really believe.
So there's that fear on top of everything.
Huge fear. He could be ostracized, just for being himself, basically.
I can't control it either, right?
Barely. It's this tightrope walk, cultural and all that, on top of the powers.
It makes you think, like, what if that happened to any of us? The world's not ready for that.
Not at all. And that's where John Obinna comes in. He's Yusuf's friend.
The Rock, yeah.
Total rock. And it says they're from different tribes, Fulani and Igbo, which is a whole other thing.
Oh, because those divisions are a big deal there, right?
Massive. So that shows how close they are. John takes Yusuf away from the university, all that pressure.
Helps him with his assignments, even.
Everything. And then there's John's sister, Florence.
The psychology student.
First year, yeah. She's very methodical, uses this guided visualization.
To help Yusuf with his powers.
Yeah, it's like making a mental safe space when it all gets too much.
Oh, like a panic room, but in his mind.
That's a good way to put it.
So we've got Yusuf struggling, societal pressure, good friends.
Yeah.
Where do the jinn come in?
This is where it gets good. You know how Yusuf had those dreams as a kid?
The teleportation ones.
Yeah, to other realms. One was this city, land of Jute. Gorgeous, sparkling, the whole 9 yards.
And that's where he met the jinn.
Janin, yeah. But quick explanation for listeners who might not know.
Yeah, what are jinn, for real?
Islamic mythology, pre-Islamic too. Supernatural beings, often fire, tons of powers.
Like spirits, but more powerful.
More agency, definitely. Sometimes mischievous, it varies.
Gotcha. So, Janin, she was in his dreams. And now...
Now she's back, but not in a dream, like physically there.
Whoa, twist.
It's huge. See, Yusuf's parents, years ago, they were totally against them together.
Taboo, I bet.
Big time.
Okay.
And the jinn have this council of They're like the big bosses.
And they imprison Janin.
For being with a human.
Yeah.
So her showing up now, it's got so many layers.
Yusuf's scared, right?
Terrified, yeah. And there's the whole question of what Janin can do in our world now.
She's a total wild card.
Right. Which makes Florence's help even more important, teaching Yusuf control.
But psychology textbooks don't cover ex-girlfriends who are jinn, I bet.
Not usually, no. And then we've got Florence's professor, Hughes. He's interesting.
Skeptic, right. Psychology professor figures.
Totally. He says maybe it's all in Yusuf's head. Lucid dreaming, dissociation, something like that.
So not really teleporting.
He doesn't say for sure, but it makes us think, right, what's real.
It's like the author's messing with us on purpose.
Totally. And then later in the chapters, we see Janin alone in this world.
She's not doing great, huh?
Isolated, and her powers are growing. She starts messing with the electricity in the house.
Jinn, fire, makes sense.
Clever connection by the author, yeah. But also, hint of something darker, maybe?
Because the council, their rules, they were strict for a reason, right?
Big reason. Jinn lore, it says they envy humans. Want physical bodies, experiences, the things they can't have.
And Janin's power growing means.
Maybe she'll break those rules to get what she wants.
So it's not just a visit like, hey, old friend. It's deeper than that.
Way deeper. Rules being broken, cultures clashing, and Yusuf's right in the middle.
Poor guy. He's got a lot on his plate.
That's just the start. It gets even more complicated from here.
Oh, I bet. We'll have to get into that next time. But first, a quick break. We'll be right back with more on Astral.
What gets me is, it's not just the jinn stuff that's interesting.
Yeah, what else?
It's how the story hits on real stuff, like social stigma around mental health.
Oh, true. Yusuf going back to uni, trying to just...
Pick up where he left off.
Exactly.
But he's walking into this totally different world now.
Whispers, I bet. People talking about his...
Correct. Yeah. They're scared, basically.
Of what they don't get.
And instead of help, it's just more isolation.
Sad, really.
Yeah.
Makes you think about how we treat people who are different.
All the time, right. The author's good at that. Mixing the supernatural with this.
Psychology of it.
Yeah, it makes you face the stuff about ourselves, how quick we are to judge.
And with Yusuf, is it even his fault? Or is it because of how people treat him?
Blurred lines, right. That's what makes him so complex. He's not just fighting powers, he's fighting.
Perceptions, yeah.
And speaking of fighting, Janin and Florence, that's heating up.
Oh, yeah. Janin's not happy about Florence being around.
Not one bit. Remember the Jin envy we talked about? That's playing out big time.
She sees Florence as competition, basically.
Totally. And her jealousy, it's not just emotion, it's...
Affecting stuff physically.
Warm lights, yeah. It's creepy how the author does that.
It reminds you Janin might be charming, but...
She's powerful. And that power is getting less controlled the more she feels.
like she's losing Yusuf.
Exactly. Then there's that scene, Janin and Florence. Key moment.
Oh, yeah, the confrontation.
Florence is talking to her boyfriend, McLean, and Janin overhears.
Uh-oh.
It's like something snaps. Jealousy, full force. The house lights go nuts.
And Florence.
Faints.
Dead away.
Cliffhanger. What's gonna happen? Can Yusuf even control Janin?
We're left hanging wondering. That mix of suspense and the romance and the real-world stuff, that's what makes Astral work.
But hold on, let's go back. We keep talking feelings, psychology.
Right.
What about the Jin world? Their side of things. We learn more in these chapters, right?
Yeah, Janin's backstory, her imprisonment at the council, it shows their society.
Strict, huh?
Rigid, rules for everything. Breaking them means, well, we see what happened to Janin. So it's not just magic, it's laws, keeping things in order.
And Janin wanting a human connection, it's almost.
Tragic, a little. Stuck between worlds.
She's looking for something she can't have, which makes her dangerous. But you kind of feel for her, too.
It's that duality. Keeps you guessing.
And as the story goes on, we see it's worse because Yusuf's getting closer to Florence.
That's like a little...
Love triangle, but with cosmic consequences.
Whoa. Yeah, good way to put it. So Yusuf's got his own powers going crazy, plus this, plus the university stuff.
A lot to deal with.
Understatement. But it's not just what's happening to him. It's...
inside him, too.
Yeah, learning to deal with it all.
The university is a good example. Trying to be normal again, but it's changed him.
Like that scene with his lecturer. What's her name?
Out of his Agnes. Strategic studies, tough as nail.
Oh, yeah. She would let him retake the exam, doctor's note, all that.
The system, right. It doesn't bend for the unusual.
And meanwhile, Janin's getting more and more.
Unpredictable. That electricity stuff, it's a warning sign.
Jealousy's not going to end well. It's like the author's building up to this.
Showdown, almost. Human versus Jin and Yusuf's.
Right in the middle. I can't wait to see what happens.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me was how the author brought in these cultural clashes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Yusuf's from this Nigerian community, right? Certain beliefs are just ingrained.
And then bam, Jin, other dimensions.
His whole world is flipped, trying to make sense of it all.
It's like, how do you reconcile ancient stuff with something that's, like, super ancient?
Right, and the story shows that clash doesn't shy away. The fear in Yusuf's community.
Of witchcraft, all that.
Exactly. It's like a commentary on how we react to the unknown, you know, any culture, really.
Fear leads to
Misunderstanding, isolation. And then you've got the Jin, their own rules, just as old.
the council, yeah.
Yeah.
No humans allowed, basically.
It's like this deep fear they have.
But is it just fear? Or is there some Jin superiority thing going on, too?
Good question. The story makes you think about it. That's what I like.
Makes you see it from different sides.
And there's Yusuf, stuck in the middle, belonging nowhere, really.
So relatable, though. Anyone who's felt like an outsider, you get it.
Totally. It's about identity, all the pieces of yourself, trying to fit them together.
Can I just say, the author's descriptions, though. Wow.
They paint a picture, don't they?
The city of Jute, where he met Janin. Sounds amazing.
Sparkling buildings, the creatures. It's like, you're there.
Makes you question what's even real in the story and outside it, you know?
It's smart. Pulls the reader right in.
So, big picture. As we finish up Astral, what do we learn? What sticks with you?
I keep coming back to balance. That's Yusuf's whole deal, finding it. Human, Jin, his past, present.
Control, letting go. It's a lot.
Do you think he'll manage it?
And what about Janin being here? What does that mean for everyone?
Feels like it's going to be big, worlds colliding, all that.
There's that sense of, like, uh-oh, something's coming.
The author does that well. Leaves you wanting more.
Astral. It makes you think, that's for sure. Gets the imagination going.
Fantasy, romance, real-world stuff, and that suspense.
Good combo.
If you're into any of that, check it out.
You might end up questioning everything you thought you knew.
Worlds beyond our own. So much to explore. Thanks for listening, everyone, and happy reading.